Ugh. Good question for you. How do you stay in shape while making money? I spent the last 5 years experimenting with everything. I'm actually working on a book. I'm gonna call it something like The $1 Million Body. I've spent crazy amount of money on everything. You name it, stem cells, tried every diet. I just came off vegan. Can't tell though. It's gotta lean up a little bit. I've worked out with top trainers, physical therapists, former Mr. Olympia. I'm friends with a lot of people that are in way better shape than me. I've had fascinating conversations recently with The Rock in person, talking to him about how much protein he eats. I was at Arnold Schwarzenegger's house asking him like his routine. He's like, I wake up at 4 in the morning, I read for an hour, I ride my bicycle to Venice. And so I want to shoot a video because here's the thing. If you look at the Forbes list, the richest people in the world, not one of them are bodybuilders. And part of that, now maybe that's just randomness, but I think part of it is if you want to make money, it's like it takes a lot of energy. So you might be an entrepreneur, you might be whatever, somebody who's working 9 to 5. I've been experimenting with how you can stay in decent shape. Now there's my dad up there. My dad was one of the first pro bodybuilders in the world. He was Mr. Canada. He had the bench press world record. Now, this has been broken a long time ago, but this is kind of pre-steroid. It's my little wall of inspiration. They say men work out better if there's pictures of attractive people. So that's an experiment I've been doing. Here's vitamins. Look at this. I take these twice a day. I've done every test you can name. DEXA, Nutrivol, ELISA, food allergy test. I've done Wellness Effects. Ben Greenfield's been mentoring me. So I just thought I would just shoot a little video because so many people go, Tai, I'm not in good shape. I'm not even in my best shape of the last 5 years. I can tell you what worked better because I've been trying like weird stuff like vegan, Ayurvedic stuff. So I got 5 years, I've been taking 34 vials of blood out of my arm for years. The nurses come, they're like, we've never seen this many people. And I'm like, I'm doing a grand experiment. Like, how the hell, I'm never gonna look like this. I mean, no chance. That's genetics. And also Arnold worked out. He told me split 3 hours in the morning, 3 hours in the afternoon. So I don't profess to be the most in shape person. Certainly not. I'm not in shape as my dad, but I make money. There's a difference. My dad, you know, is from the streets of Harlem. He never made much money, which is fine. Life's not all about money. But for those of you who are trying to balance work, life, fitness, I just thought I'd shoot a video, free little video here, and just share with you some of the things that I've learned that work and don't work. Like I said, I've got body measurements here. I use something called MyFitnessPal free app. Good little, here's the first tip. MyFitnessPal is pretty helpful. You can track your food, log your food. If you want to cut weight, nothing works better. And I don't own any of MyFitnessPal. This is not an ad. They didn't pay me nothing. But I also have been keeping my progress. Here's my waist measurements all the way back. I think it's 6 years. I inputted a few times. I've been measuring my biceps. I've been measuring, you know, my shoulders, my calves. There's a whole golden ratio thingy here. So, first thing I would tell you, use MyFitnessPal. Log your food, especially if you're trying to cut weight or trying to bulk. Whenever I don't use it, I get that. And I'll put some videos showing when I was in better shape, when I was using it like religiously. It's free. You can also, I use JFit, J-E-Fit. The logging's not as good. It's better for like tracking your weights. But then the second thing that I will tell you is cycle seasonally. One of my other trainers, I kind of rotate different trainers. Danny Hester, he won Mr. Olympia Classic a couple years ago, which is, Mr. Olympia is like the highest honor you can get. And he told me, he cycles. So a lot of stuff you see out there on diet, like keto, I've tried keto, I've done carnivore diet, I've done paleo, I've done vegan, I've done vegetarian, pescatarian, ova, and lacto. I've lived on a farm with the Amish and eaten old school German meat and potatoes all the time. And so the best diet, if you look at our teeth, humans have a little bit of carnivore. We got a little bit of carnivore teeth, and we have molars grinding up. You know, Ben Greenfield says, eat a lot of tubers. I've been experimenting with that diet, and look at this right here, crazy experiment. Number 3, I really think this antioxidant thing is for real. There's a test that I do on my blood. There's one, Nutrivol and SpectraCell. One of the things, they have an Immunidex score. So Immunidex basically measures, they take some of your blood and look at leukocytes and all this stuff. my immunodex has gone up. I can just feel it in my body. So this is what, step number 2 or 3. Go crazy once a day on antioxidant stuff. So this right here is like 2 trays of blueberries, a tray of blackberries, a tray of raspberries. Ben Greenfield, you know, he's been on Joe Rogan twice. He's written amazing books. One of the leanest guys. He stays here at my house. This dude's in shape. Leanest guy almost in the world, I would say. He's an Iron Man triathlete. He's like 4%, I would say. He told me, go easy on things like apples, pineapples, mangoes. They're hybridized, so there's too much sugar. So you go with like low glycemic index stuff or things that are much smaller, like wild berries if you can. These blueberries aren't totally wild. He also is a big fan of going carbs in the evening right after you work out. So I've just been working out for about an hour. So now I'm gonna hit my carbs. So that's number 4. If you listen, now this is controversial because some people are like, no carbs, pure keto, keep it under 30 gram net carb. But sustainable, remember, we're trying to make money, not be a professional Arnold Schwarzenegger. So if you're trying to be an entrepreneur and you cut your carbs too much and you like go into a mental fog and you have no energy, well now maybe you're leaning up, but you ain't making any money because you can't think. So that's why I said, what I'm recording is, I'm actually gonna put a link, by the way. I decided I'm gonna launch a little course. I'm gonna get all the influencers I know, all the fitness people I know to contribute some stuff. So I'm gonna put a little link. Click this link below. I'm gonna train people. It takes 67 days minimum, they found, to change habits, change your life. Give me 67 days of working on what I've learned and what people more advanced than me know. As you're an entrepreneur, a business owner, or busy adult, go through this program. I just did it with one of the guys who works for me. He cut 50 pounds in the last 67 days with nothing crazy. Walking more. Tip number 5, treadmill desk, baby. I'm gonna get in this business right here. If you don't have a treadmill, I'm making money walking. One of the top paleoanthropologists in the world, his name's Lieberman from Harvard, he studied the human skeletal system, and he told me, I interviewed him, humans are meant to walk minimum of 4 miles a day. If you ain't walking 4 miles a day, stuff's gonna go bad in your body. We are built to it. The way our hips are, he said the difference between monkeys and humans, we have a different hip structure, different knee structure. You can read his book. It's called The Story of the Human Body. Get on a treadmill. I don't own this company yet, but I want to own a treadmill. This is a lifespan desk. It's my favorite, but it's got a few things I want to change. Doesn't have elevation, which I think you can get carpal if you're always walking in the same plane. So that's another thing. Get you one of these, number 5, or what number? Myotape. Measure your waist, half an inch above your navel. If you're a guy, this is the main thing. And if you're a woman too. But women don't hold, I've been doing a DEXA scan for years. It's the most advanced scan to figure out your body weight. You can do calipers, you can do water, displacement, all that. DEXA is kind of a gold standard. Every time I use this, when I do my DEXA scan once a quarter, things look better. Watch your waist, guys. Watch your waist. Keep that waist. Look at Steve Reeves. Steve Reeves, who's a bodybuilder before him, keep that waist, man, and you should not have a 36-inch waist. Measure yourself right when you wake up in the morning, empty stomach. I do it first thing. I measure at least once a week. I think for men, they say shoulder, waist ratio is the most important, the golden ratio. You can also do waist biceps. To me, depends. I have naturally wide shoulders, but biceps can be, I think, if you look, so this is number 7 or whatever, get your waist down, get your biceps to be half your waist. So if you want to have big biceps, you want to have 36-inch biceps. I'm sorry, 18-inch. 36 would be great. You would be dead. Synthol. If you want to get 18-inch arms, that's even big. Let's say 16-inch arms. You want to be keeping your waist below 32. That's a great little tip for free. For those of you who get in the program over 67 days, we got crazy things. You'll wait till you see the people. Click the link. You'll see who else is going to be teaching in here. I got these guys don't even do this stuff. I just asked them for a favor. Hey, will you teach a couple lessons to entrepreneurs, people trying to make money, because it's a jungle out there. Most entrepreneurs look horrible. I know 2 badass entrepreneurs. One of them's like 100 pounds overweight. One of them has 0 muscle. It's like, don't be either one. You don't have to try to be a 10, okay? But you should be at least a 7 or 8. What's all the money in the world matter if you don't have health? Get your treadmill desk. Now, number 8 tip. get you, now this, I'm fortunate enough these days to be able to afford kind of a cool house to live in. You can see there's the main house there. But you don't have to be living in Beverly Hills to get an office gym. Stop sitting at a desk, do your work. Now, for those people who say, I can't afford a place, man, I started, you know my Here in My Garage video? It had nothing to do with putting bookshelves at first. I had my little office there, and I would just, I can show you going back 2012, 2013, 2014, before Here in My Garage. While I was just on the phone with somebody, I'd just get in there, and I would just be on the phone, speakerphone. This is better than nothing. Sure, Arnold Schwarzenegger says, you know, you need to focus on the pump and all that. That's great. But you know what? So here's the best. Being focused just on your body. That's number one. But if you got to make money and you got to pay the bills, number two is focusing on the money and at least getting some reps in. Trust me, it's better than sitting and becoming overweight and out of shape. So I started doing that, and I can show stats. That was the beginning of looking better, feeling better, having more muscle tone, increasing my metabolism. Better neural stimulation. So that's the next thing. Create an office gym anywhere. It could just be a little corner. Stop sitting in front of a desk. People are going to look back and go, what? You used to sit at a desk? The future, all companies are going to have this. It's going to be mandatory. There are going to be lawsuits. People working in desk jobs it's already happening. Carpool. People are going to blame their obesity on their employer. I got 7 of these sitting here in my office so employees can do it too. You can use an exercise bike too. I got one of those desk bikes. I kind of like this one better. You can set this one up, down in terms of speed. Ideally set it 2.5 or something. If you set it to 1 mile an hour and you're on your laptop for 4 hours a day, it's 4 miles. And I'll tell you this, you sleep better. For sure, all these people getting prescribed stuff, that's because what about this right here? This is work. Now some of this might not sound that profound because you're like, oh, I already knew all that. Well, great. Then you shouldn't be the one that's watching this video. If you know it, that's what I tell know-it-alls. Well, if you know it all, why the hell are you watching? Don't watch then. This is for people who are so busy trying to pay the bills, they don't have time to optimize their body and health too. We're on number 8. Number 9, use personal trainers. I've tried to work out on my own. You always underperform when you're with than compared to when you're a trainer. Just do it. Suck it up. If you can't pay a trainer, get a friend. Look, people in prison get people to help them working out. That's a trainer. They're not paying them, but they're their buddy. So get a buddy. Now, number 11 or 10. What time to work out? By the way, if you're just ready, you don't want to hear me talking anymore, want to learn this stuff, the entrepreneur, how to make money while staying in shape, decent shape, we'll call it, click the link below or here in the corners. Get in this program. I'm going to open up to just like I did with 67 steps and SMMA, I'm going to open up to a test group. I want to get testimonials. I want to see how this stuff works. I've been testing on my employees. Zach, who works for me, Alex, my business partner, added on the DEXA, following the basic routine, but working out with better people. So I kind of architected it, but then he worked out with better trainers than me. I'm not a personal trainer. He just added 28 pounds of lean muscle. Or was it 20? 20 or 28 pounds of lean muscle. He went from like nothing, like 115 to like 138. I think that's what I just looked at his DEXA, on a DEXA. And he did it in under 6 months. It's been almost exactly 6 months. That's a radical transformation. I did it with Zach Ross, who's working with me. He cut 50 pounds. Now, he's still got more to cut. Zach, who you guys see in a lot of my videos, has cut from like 240 or 230. He's down to like 210. He's stronger, feeling better, sleeping better. Okay? Take care of yourself. Boy, you get that immune system throw you off. I know a guy, a friend of a friend, made $1 billion. Made $1 billion. But he can't get out of bed. Would you want $1 billion if you can get out of bed? What's the point? You can't even use it. So health, wealth, love, happiness. I haven't created a test group yet on health just because I've been testing on myself, and you know, I don't always feel qualified. It's not I want to stay in my lane, but at the same, I was just like, I'll just bring in people who could teach you. I'm going to bring in Ben Greenfield to teach. I'm going to bring in all these people and say, hey, let me call in a favor. Teach people who follow me that are entrepreneurs or or busy 9-to-5 executives, how they can stay in shape. This is a little trick right here. I mean, it's not even my trick. Some of this stuff, I'm not saying I came up with this, but I put it together in a cohesive plan. You know, I'll tell you, a guy who works for me, Yusef, got massive, ripped. And I just saw him. He lives in Montreal. And I said, what happened? He said, Tai, I listened to you because I had recorded one video. It's not even really public. And he's like, and this is a guy who's naturally more like an Arnold Schwarzenegger. And he just like, he cut like he went from like 18% body fat to 10. And again, the reason I'm qualified to teach this is not really that I always am able to pull it off on my body, but I've been able to spend money on the best teachers out there. You know, like I said, former Mr. Olympias. When I do jiu-jitsu, I do boxing, I'm lucky enough to train with the Gracies, the Machados. These are the people who brought the UFC and Brazilian jiu-jitsu. My trainer who trains me in boxing, you know, he trains at one of the biggest gyms here, trains the biggest pros out there. So, $1 million body. I'm getting close to spending $1 million, by the way. It's a 5-year experiment. It's not quite been 5 years. It's really been like 3.5. So I want to save you $1 million to learning this. I'm going to be laying out what I learned from the Nutrivol, DEXA scan, Immunidex. We'll be talking about SpectraCell. I'll be sharing with you wellness effects. I've been doing like 60 markers. It's insane. I can show you what moves almost every marker. I've tried everything too. Stem cell. I've tried, you know, they got this young blood thing I've tried. They say it's makes you a a vampire. I tested a little bit. I got in the like government sanctioned study. I've tested that a little. I do everything a little bit. I'm not like, I've tried testosterone. I'm not on it now. I will test everything once. I don't care if people go, oh, that's cheating. I'm like, dude, I'll test everything. Test everything. The old saying, try everything once. I've almost tried everything once. I've tried cryo. I've tried every chiropractor. I've done acupuncture. I'm going to share with you. I can't do it all in this video because I need to go. So let me share that with you. Click the link below. I gave you 10 things. Even if you don't go. By the way, Tim Ferriss is right. That bad boy, that little half ball, Bozu ball, that blue one. Tim Ferriss. I've read Tim Ferriss's 4-hour body, and he did this kind of discovery, and there's a lot of good things in there. I've done similar discoveries. I have a slightly different take, although I think in general there's a lot of good stuff there. I'm not a critic of other people, but mine's very different. And mine's like right now. I'm doing it now. I got the receipts too. I'll show you. I was just talking to my CPA. He's like, what are we going to label all these crazy things you've done? I'm like, book research. It's book research. So I want to pass on. The book's not even out yet. But I was like, maybe I'm not going to wait till 5 years because there's all these people. I go, Tai, how the hell could I make money and stay in shape? And I go, all right, I'm going to make a little thing for you. I'm not going to charge an arm and a leg. I'm basically just charging enough that like my staff could put it together and man it and have the customer support. And I can fly in the top influencers that I know. So, but I will tell you, do not neglect your health in search of wealth. All the money in the world ain't worth nothing if you're sick or dead. Steve Jobs always said, I didn't want to be the richest man in the graveyard. He did a lot of experiments. I'll tell you one thing he didn't do, as far as I can tell. He did a lot of diet ones. He went fruitarian, which I think there's serious problems with. I've tried it. He didn't do weights. You look at Steve Jobs, I mean, I'm like, Steve, there's more science on getting a little weights in than anything in terms of actually slowing or even possibly reversing aging. And so I just look at him and I go, this guy was the richest man in the world, but like, what does it profit a man to gain the world but lose his soul? I'll put a twist on that. What's it profit a man to gain the world but lose his health or her health for the females and males? So click the link. See some of you in the test group.